Good morning, dear my friends. Before starting the lesson, I want to introduce myself. My name is Samet and I'm from Istanbul, Turkey. Today, with my students, we will work on reading and writing task. Good morning, dear my students. How are you? How are you today? I'm fine, thank you. And what about you, Ali? Why you are so in silence? Everything is okay. Let's talk about today. You will learn, all of you, sure. You will learn to make an appointment with a doctor and an appointment with a doctor, and you will be able to talk about your illness and disease with a doctor, and you will be able to talk about illness or what there is one more word like illness is sickness. That's right. Congratulations. Illness and pain with a doctor. Let's talk about first how to make an appointment. And before starting, in our course book on page 29, we have a reading task. We will read together, and there will also be a writing test. So in writing test, you will create a scenario and a short dialogue between a patient and a doctor. Let's talk about how to make an appointment with a doctor. For example, you call to doctor's office, to doctor's place, and you say, I'd like to make I'd like to make an appointment with with doctor, for example, Dr. Brown. Okay, with Dr. Brown. I'd like to make an appointment with Dr. Brown. And the secretary will probably ask, what is the issue? What is the issue? What is the issue? And you will talk about your sickness and your pain, and you will say, for example, I have a toothache if he's a dentist, or I have a headache, or I have an allergy. So you want to check. You want to be checked. Let's talk about today, dear my friends. I have a PowerPoint. I have a PowerPoint slides here for you. I have already prepared it at home. Let's talk about illness. And I think you probably know right now how to make an appointment. I like to make an appointment with doctor. And the first one is, for example, let's talk about the the parts the parts of our body, the main parts. For example, it is a head. It is a head, yeah, head. It is a head, and we have also eyes here, nose, and this. Okay, okay. What about this? Is our eye one eye, two eyes? That's right. Two, or we just put it as. And what about ear? I just forget here to put. It is ear. It is ear. And what about this? This is nose. That's great. What about this? This is a mouth. Mouth. That's right. What about, and probably there is a neck, or, and there is also, for example, just consider is a people, and here is, so this part of body is back. This part of body is back. And for example, there is a big phrase, especially for the women, it is waist. This part maybe it is waist. It is waist. So let's talk about age of these places, of these parts of body. For example, we could have we say, what is it? It is cough. That's right. It is cough. Ali, do you know what? Ali, do you know? Ali, can you please pronounce again? Cough, cough, cough. That's right. The another word is just consider that there is overhead projector upon us, and the next word is fever. The fever. let's talk about the fever. Fever. For example, I have a fever, or it's a kind of temperature. You have a temperature. Have you got a fever? Do you have a fever? Or I have also have a stomach ache. I have a stomach ache. Or for example, there is a pain in my head. So how can I ask? How can I say it? Sarah, headache. That's great. So by the way, have you ever been to hospital? So you have already had a conversation with a doctor in English. That's great. So I think you probably know this. So what about, for example, I have a pain in my tooth. That's nice. Toothache. Just I want to remind something. For example, one tooth. What about two? Two teeth. That's great. Two teeth. And for example, I have a pain in my ear, on my ear. That's nice. It is earache. That's so nice. That's very good. And you will probably have sore throat, or we have, for example, runny nose. For example, I have a flu and I have a nose, and I just clear with a napkin here. And there must also be a backache. For example, I have a pain in my backache. It is backache. Okay, you got it. So let's talk about, you, my friends. For example, have or has. You know how to make an appointment or something like this. I think you have already write it. And have or has. I think you have already remember which pronouns we use have and which pronouns we use has. I have, you have, they have, we have, and he, she, it has. That's right. Let's talk about illness over here. For example, cold. We are talking cold, and you'll say, I have a cold. I have a cold. For example, he a headache. Okay, who? Ali, could you please feel it? He have. Oh my goodness! No, it's not have. Just remember. We use after he, she, and it has. He has. That's right. He has. He has a headache. What about, for example, my wife? An earache, for example, an earache. What about you, Sarah? Has. That's right. My wife has. My wife has a headache. My wife has a headache. For example, we have used to say, and there was also something. For example, I have a sore, or I have an ache here. We have already talked about, and there is also another other expressions. For example, I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to. I'm going down. I'm going down with a cold. Is the kind of phrasal verbs to go down with. If you are starting to feel yourself ill, and your writing task will be, you will for example, you will create a scenario. For example, I have a headache or I have a stomach ache. I'm going to doctor, and after creating your scenario, there will be a short dialogue you will prepare on your writing task, and this dialogue will be between a patient and a doctor. For example, a patient goes into the room of doctor and he said, hello, my doctor, I have a headache or I have a backache, and it's a kind of short dialogue.